He wrote a piece on ESPN.com on upcoming sneaker free agents. I was so excited all week you were coming here because I am fascinated by this story. Kawhi Leonard, who is an NBA free agent, of course, next summer, if he opts out, which he's going to opt out, will also be a sneaker free agent later this year because he turned down a 4-year, $22 million deal from Jordan Brand in March, you reported. He will leave the company in October. What is going on here?
It's really curious because I think as surprised as people were that he left the Spurs on bad terms and as great of an organization as that, Jordan Brand's always been a family environment. So it caught a lot of people off guard when that went south. For Kawhi to turn down that amount of money, it's a top 15 shoe deal offer for $5.5, per year, for $5.5 million a year. And so he's wanting a signature shoe. He wants more money. His last tweet was 4 years ago. He doesn't have Instagram, and he's not known for his off-court personality. So there's a lot of dynamics that make it really hard for him to get a shoe deal. Shoe deal offers are never about just how great of a player you are on the court. A guy like Nick Young is activated all the time and sometimes doesn't play.
I think it's actually what you said was understated. He never talks.
At all.
Like, how does a guy who never says anything get a deal beyond that? Like, it's just mind-boggling to me.
And when you look at marketing, he's probably most known for the local grocery store ads in San Antonio.
Well, he did the karate chop thing, right? That one video. So that's Jordan, like the most personality I've seen.
Jordan did activate him last fall in the Like Mike campaign.
Yeah.
And that didn't really seem to move the needle or get much attention. So I think they're in a tough spot. And when you look at the trade with DeMar, it's a great comparison because Toronto's not a bad market. I've had a lot of people asking me, is Toronto going to hurt his offers? And they've had Vince Carter, DeMar. DeMar actually had a secondary room next to the locker room for all his shoes because he was wearing Kobe's all the time and switching stuff in and out. Kawhi likes to wear black and gray, very subtle shoes. So I think he's going to have to really make himself more excitable here.
How much product did he move, actually?
Kawhi hasn't had a signature shoe. They had an Air Jordan 1 that launched last month as part of a playoff pack, and it's been pretty minimal. So I don't think there's a lot there to justify paying him in the 10 range.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the things I find interesting, and Damian Lillard sort of brought this to light, is we used to be told that you needed to be in the big market to get these deals. And I'm just wondering, where is the shoe business with regard to market size? Does it matter anymore?
So Dame is a great case, a guy that transcends his market. I actually looked this up last season. Dame posted Adidas-related stuff on his Instagram over 50 times throughout the season. And Kawhi doesn't have Instagram at all and has no interest in that. And if he did, at this point, I think a lot of brands are wondering, is it going to come off contrived and forced? Because it's never been something that he's been familiar with. So it's one of the more curious marketing things I've seen, and it's going to be interesting to see where it goes.
There's so much about Kawhi Leonard that's going to unfold in the next year. That's one of them. I want to move on to New Balance, though, because you also broke news earlier this week. New Balance pursuing Gordon Hayward in the interest of relaunching their basketball shoes. Hayward currently with Nike. He will be a sneaker free agent just next month. Puma, now New Balance re-entering the market. What do you think about all this?
Yeah, and one as well. They brought back Kevin Garnett as creative director, so it's an exciting time. A lot of brands are getting back into the mix. His deal is not expiring until October 1st. After August 1st, he could start talking to brands, but they, a couple weeks ago, announced that they're the head sponsor for the Auerbach Center.
Yes,
and the Celtics facility is it's across the street on the headquarters of the New Balance headquarters.
Yeah.
Which is the first time that a team has done that. And so New Balance is looking at Boston as a priority market. Gordon Hayward is looked at by a lot of brands as an all-star level guy that's going to have potential to be in the finals here. And so there's brands like Onto that are interested, and a lot of people for sure.
I have to just note, by the way, you guys jump in, but Matt Bonner, the last NBA athlete to wear New Balances, so I don't know where you feel like Matt Bonner and Gordon Hayward sit in there. I mean, look at that. See, we just wanted to get the Matt Bonner
there you go.
photo
And Matt played, I think he played without a shoe deal the last 3 or so years and just really liked the shoes. And so it was one of those things where he's from that region, but they've been out of the game for a little bit, and they're going to revamp and I assume do some much more exciting stuff than probably what Matt was wearing.
Because the majority of what they've done is running shoes, right?
Of course, yeah.
Boston, man. That's the signature. Puma adding Celtics guard Terry Rozier to its roster. The brand relaunched its basketball category by signing DeAndre Ayton, Marvin Bagley. Rozier told Bleacher Report, quote, "I feel like I'm very marketable. I feel I'm the guy they needed to sign." And Nick, what's the cleaned up version of what Puma posted on its Instagram today?
I'm only messing with Puma. Is the finessed way of how he phrased that, which I think what we've seen with Puma that's been exciting is they're trying to be the most transparent, honest, and kind of refreshing brand out there. It was the more colorful press release quote I've ever seen from a player. Usually that's not how that goes. Usually they are excited to join a global company and it's very bland. But you know, we've seen in some of the stuff.
Say messing. Just by the way, go look it up on IG. Go ahead.
You know, their Puma account, after my story about Kawhi and Jordan Brand splitting, they reposted a random meme that was like Jim from The Office with Jay-Z looking over his shoulder outside of a window, and it was like, you know, I think they're going to be poking fun at stuff. They're looking for visibility here, and I love the signing actually because, you know, at the draft they did get a lot of big guys. This gives them a lot of balance. It's kind of a Reggie Jackson situation potentially, where maybe Terry is not on the Celtics next year, and that remains to be seen. But
it seems like an interesting strategy. They're almost buying low-cost stocks that have high growth potential.
Potentially, but I mean, the draft guys they signed, they were making great offers. So the financial package is definitely there. And I think for a lot of the players, it's totally open-ended in terms of every guy they're signing feels like I can be the face.
Well, that is interesting.
What's driving all this? I mean, all these companies right now, is it the ascendance of the league internationally? Is it China? Like why now?
It's a great question. So basketball, out of all the major sports, it's the one sport where a kid can buy the shoe that's actually worn. You know, you can't buy a cleat and wear it around. And then basketball athletes, as we've seen, like the way they're active on social media, the way they're globally relevant in China, there's so many touch points of music and culture. Like, it's the perfect storm for all these things that if you're a brand, make it really, really compelling to get stories out there. And so for the guys that Puma signed, they're looking for expressive personalities. Like, they did get some big men, but as we've seen with DeAndre and Marvin, like, those guys are fun guys that have a lot of personality. And so they're going to really have fun with it. And you know, a guy like Joel Embiid makes a lot of sense for them too, just from an awareness standpoint. That could be up this fall.
Are you going to be back with us when that Giannis signature shoe is finally released? Because that's the next big one, right?
Yeah, so Giannis is not, even though he signed last year, it's still another year out. It's just such a long timeline to design for. But from what I've seen so far, it's going to be super exciting. And I would say, you know, his game is the Greek freak, and he has a game unlike anybody on the court. So maybe his shoe is going to look unlike anything on the court too. So I think they're gonna have some fun with it.
Teasing.
By the way, Nick lives in Portland. He spends several times a week with all these different shoe companies. So when he says maybe, that means that's what you can expect.